Listen to me right now, because what just happened in Washington is going to shatter everything you thought you knew about loyalty and politics. The headlines are screaming, but they're not screaming loud enough. What we're watching isn't just another scandal. This is the moment when the tower collapses from within, and the person holding the match is the last person Donald Trump ever expected. His own second-in-command just lit the fuse that's going to blow his entire world apart. J.D. Vance has made a move so calculated, so devastating, that it changes the entire game. We're not talking about speculation anymore. We're talking about a vice president who just gave permission to the Senate to do what they've been too afraid to do, convict a sitting president. And when the person who's supposed to be your backup tells the world he won't save you, that's not politics, that's execution, here's what went down. And you need to hear every single word of this behind closed doors on Capitol Hill. In a meeting that was supposed to stay quiet, J.D. Vance sat across from some of the most powerful Republicans in the Senate. They asked him point blank whether he could stand behind the president after everything that's come out about the chip deal. With the United Arab Emirates, the $2 billion that mysteriously showed up in Trump's crypto wallet, the entire mess that ties military technology to foreign cash. And Vance looked them in the eye and said he couldn't ask them to ignore what the evidence shows. He said the national security risks are too real. Now that might sound like careful political language, but let me translate it for you. What he actually said was, the president is guilty, I know it, you know it, and I'm not going down with him. That's a betrayal so cold it could freeze the Potomac. Think about what this means for a second. J.D. Vance has spent years defending this man, has gone on television and argued the indefensible, has twisted himself into knots trying to make excuses for behavior that would end at any other political career on day one. But Vance isn't stupid, has been watching the same thing we've been watching, has seen the financial records that prove money moved from Abu Dhabi straight into Trump's pocket, has seen the timeline that shows military-grade technology left American soil right after that cash came in. He knows the math. And more importantly, he knows that over 24 senators have already publicly said they're done protecting Trump. Vance did the calculation, and he realized that defending Trump anymore would be professional suicide. So instead, he's flipping the script. He's positioning himself as the reasonable one, the patriot who put the country first. It's ruthless, it's self-serving, and it confirms exactly what we've been saying all along. Donald Trump is a criminal, and even the people closest to him can see it. This is the absolute worst position Trump could possibly be in right now. He's surrounded, he's exposed, and the one person who's legally required to have his back just stepped aside and left him wide open. You have to appreciate how perfectly this plays out. Trump chose Vance specifically because he thought Vance would be loyal no matter what. He thought he picked someone who would fight to the death for him. But Trump forgot something crucial about people who chase power. When the walls start closing in, they don't sacrifice themselves, they sacrifice you. And that's exactly what Vance is doing. His not going down with the ship, his commandeering the lifeboat and leaving Trump to drown. Now let's talk about why this destroys Trump's entire legal strategy. The whole defense has been built on one central idea, that the chip deal was legitimate foreign policy, not a bribe. So they've been saying the $2 billion was just a coincidence, just business, nothing to do with the technology transfer. But if the vice president, the guy who sits in the situation room, the guy who gets the classified briefings, says he can't defend it, then that story falls apart completely. Vance is essentially admitting that the deal was dirty, has admitting that American security was compromised for personal profit. And once the vice president admits that, how can any senator vote to let Trump stay in office? They can't. Vance just removed their excuse. He made it impossible for them to pretend they don't see what's right in front of them. So you need to understand that this isn't just about one corrupt transaction. This is the Republican Party eating itself alive. The hardcore MAGA loyalists are going to see J.D. Vance the same way they saw Mike Pence when he wouldn't overturn the election. They're going to call him a traitor, a coward, every name in the book. But Vance doesn't care about them anymore. Has looking at the billionaires, the Silicon Valley power brokers, the establishment Republicans who are exhausted by the constant chaos, has betting that they're ready to move on. Has betting that they want someone who can push their agenda without dragging a bribery scandal behind him everywhere he goes. Has not trying to save the party, has trying to take it over, and has using Trump's corpse as a stepping stool. None of this would be happening without the money. I can't say this enough. The financial evidence is what broke the dam. The blockchain records that show exactly how the funds moved, the timestamps that match up with the technology approvals, the digital fingerprints that tie everything together. That's what created the pressure. That's now crushing the administration. Vance saw those records. He knows the Justice Department has them too. He knows that the Foreign Corrupt Practices Act doesn't leave any wiggle room. He knows that if he keeps defending Trump, he becomes part of the crime. And J.D. Vance might be ambitious. He might be cynical, but has not going to federal prison for Donald Trump. Picture what's happening in the White House right now. Trump is watching this unfold on cable news, watching his own vice president refuse to defend him, has raging at his staff, calling senators who won't pick up the phone, realizing that the protection he thought he had was never real. The Supreme Court can't save him from impeachment. The Supreme Court can't save him from a vice president who wants his job. This is what the end looks like. This is the kind of trouble you don't recover from. This is the moment when the whole structure collapses and there's tea nowhere left to hide. And you're watching this because you can feel it. You can feel that this is the turning point. When a vice president makes a move like this, everything speeds up. We're not looking at months of hearings anymore. We're looking at weeks, maybe even days. The Republican senators who were sitting on the fence just got their marching orders from the guy who's about to be their new leader. Cut Trump loose. Get rid of the liability. Clear the deck. It's brutal. It's cold, but it leads straight to accountability. But don't make the mistake of thinking J.D. Vance is some kind of hero here. He's not doing this because he cares about the Constitution. He's doing this because he wants the throne. He's just as dangerous as Trump, just as tied to the tech billionaires, just as willing to bend the rules. But right now, in this specific moment, his hunger for power is useful. His ambition is the weapon that's finally cutting Trump loose from the presidency. We'll deal with Vance when the time comes. Right now, the focus has to be on making sure this impeachment goes all the way. Look at how Trump's people are reacting. They're calling Vance a snake, a plant, a puppet. It's almost funny. They can't accept that their guy is just a criminal who got caught. They have to invent some elaborate conspiracy to explain why everyone's abandoning him. But the reality is simple. Trump committed crimes. He sold out American interests for cash. He got caught. And now everyone who stood beside him is running for the exits. Let's be clear about the Republican Party's role in all of this. J.D. Vance knew about these deals months ago. He knew about the crypto wallet, the conflicts of interest, all of it. He stayed quiet as long as it was convenient. He's only speaking up now because the ship is sinking, and don't give him credit for stopping a fire he helped start. The Republican Party created this monster. They fed it, they protected it, and now that it's turning on them, they want applause for putting it down. So we're not applauding, we're taking notes. And this move by Vance is also a signal to the billionaire class. People like Peter Thiel and Elon Musk have more influence over Vance than they ever had over Trump. This could very well be a coordinated power play by the donor class to install someone more manageable, someone less unpredictable, and we have to be aware of that. But regardless of why it's happening, the result is the same. Donald Trump is going to lose the shield of the presidency. And without that shield has just a citizen who stole classified documents and took bribes. And in this country, citizens who do that go to prison, feel the urgency of this moment. The fact that Vance made this move means the votes are already locked in. You don't take a shot at the king unless you know it's going to land. And Vance knows it's going to land. He knows he has the 26 senators we've been talking about, plus enough others to hit the 2/3 threshold. And this is already decided behind the scenes. What we're watching now is just the public performance of the execution. So what do? We keep the pressure on. We demand that Vance testifies under oath in front of the Senate. If he has evidence of national security breaches, he needs to say it publicly, not just in private meetings. We need to see the documents. We need to see the communications between the Trump family and the UAE. We can't let Vance sanitize the record to protect himself. We need the full truth and the ugly truth, the truth that burns the whole rotten structure to the ground. The people who defended Trump yesterday are going to look like absolute fools today. Imagine going on television to swear the president is innocent, only to have his own vice president come out the next day and say the evidence is damning. They're not just embarrassed, they're implicated. And they tied their credibility to a con artist, and now the con artist is dragging them off the cliff. The Republican Party has destroyed its reputation for a generation. They chose loyalty to a grifter over loyalty to the country, and now they're paying the price. I'm telling you this because you deserve to know that the system, as broken as it is finally responding. The infection is being attacked. Donald Trump is the infection. And J.D. Vance, ironically, has become the immune response. Not because he's virtuous, but because he's ambitious, and the trouble Trump is facing is total, has staring down the loss of his fortune, his freedom, and his power. And the person taking it all away is the man he chose to stand beside him. Don't look away now. Don't let yourself get distracted. This is the climax. This is the moment when the villains turn on each other. And while they rip each other apart, we have to be ready to step in and reclaim what's ours. We have to be ready to rebuild from the wreckage of their corruption. So the money led us here, the truth led us here, and now justice is standing at the door. Donald Trump is finished. The bomb has gone off. The smoke is clearing. And what's left is the undeniable reality that you cannot betray the United States of America and walk away clean. Not even if you're president, especially if you're president. Stay sharp, stay focused. The end is coming for this entire regime.